Black Ops 4 got update 1.14 for Xbox One and PC today. It was about a 10 gigabyte file depending on what platform you were on. I think it was about 10.2 for Xbox One and 9.8 for PS4. PC, I haven't heard anything just yet. Those title updates are often delayed ever so slightly, so wouldn't surprise me if that comes out tomorrow or Thursday, but we ended up getting this update, and it might not be what everybody was anticipating, but there is still a ton of content to talk about. So today we're going to jump into it and break down everything that changed here with this update, and there's a lot, so let's just get into it. Let's start at the very beginning. When you first log on, you'll end up seeing that you have a brand new main menu selection screen. You end up having St. Patrick's Stockpile for MP, you have League Play, you have Quads, Hardcore, Blackout, you have Hellcat as those featured modes. Plus, you also end up seeing that the store has a new tab, not that that's really anything that changes any gameplay, but on that front, those are all different changes and different adjustments here at this. One also thing that you will end up getting when you first log on are two different free items. You end up getting access to the Precious Gesture and also an animated calling card for the festivities of Operation Shamrock and all. But if you're expecting a sort of contraband stream to go along with it, unfortunately, you're sadly going to be mistaken. That's not going to be something that is in this, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But outside of that, we end up seeing that we also have a brand new MP map, or rather reskin of an MP map. It is Contraband Hurricane. Honestly, I like this one a lot. It's a more toned down version of the bright and colorful version that we have standard from launch. This is a cool little change of pace for the map and a little design alteration. I'm not entirely sure though if it was where my setup is and I had a glare from the window behind my monitor. I did find it a little tough initially to spot some players when first initially getting adjusted here to this, but it's something that is still really cool to see, and of course it's free to all players, so you should be able to find this in any game mode that you want, and it's also available within custom games. Same thing goes for Casino. That was actually finally added into private matches as well, so both of those you can check out either on your own free time, just do some Easter egg hunting, or you could probably find them in-game as well. Outside of that, we end up having the brand new game mode of Stockpile, which you may not know from the name, but you may know very well from the gameplay. It's Fracture from Black Ops 3. This time, it's Shamrock and Awe themed, so the coins and tags, if you will, are Shamrocks, and it's the same sort of gameplay that goes for Black Ops 3, where you have to collect the tags off the players and then deposit them to end up giving your team any points towards that. You can hold up to, I believe, 10 at a time, so just be careful though, because if you have 10 and you get killed, well, you drop all 10, and that's subject for the enemy team to deny or even take what they can get from you. According to the blog post, this is actually going to stick around and come back in later iterations as well, so it won't always just be Shamrock and Awe themed, but for the time being, for the 2-week event, it is available as a sort of thematic change with this. Additionally, in terms of some technical changes, the Prestige Master level 1000 glitch has now been fixed out, where players that were just about to reach level 1000, it seemed rather arbitrary and random, that it didn't really have any set parameters on who was affected by this, but some players, right before they got to level 1000, would get this bug where it just wouldn't put them to 1000. They'd be stuck at 999. So that's something that bug is now fixed apparently, and probably the biggest thing to round us out into the other content changes within Black Ops 4's update. For the MP side, well, Shamrock and Awe was kind of a bust because we didn't get a mini content stream, no 15 to 20 tiers of free items we could progress through, no DLC weapon at the end of the tunnel there. Instead, we got a $20 bundle that gave us an emote, a jump pack, some few other things, and also 10 reserve cases that more than likely probably going to be dupe stickers, at least based off of my experience with reserve cases so far. But regardless, it's 20 bucks and not really anything worthwhile, with no mini stream, not in game, and not mentioned in the patch notes. So your guess is as good as mine. I mean, I guess there probably could be something later on down the line. Maybe we see something happen on the weekend. I'm not putting it out of the realms of possibilities, but it unfortunately looks kind of bleak for that future. But my personal anecdotes aside, and we'll talk about those maybe at the very end of the video, let's talk a little bit more about the facts. What is granted here with this? And Blackout is the next thing I want to talk about, because there's actually a decent amount of content updates for Blackout. There's some substantial changes, and the first thing that you'll notice initially jumping into it is that there's a complete map overhaul and map change to the Blackout map. I'm not saying that it's a brand new map where there's all sorts of different locations, but instead, thematically, it's much different than it was before. It's now scenic, green, and lush, has a sunset vibe, and all that kind of stuff. So it's a completely different atmosphere to it, but the actual POIs are still the same. One curious thing, though, that I liked about this jumping into it is that we end up seeing that it is scenic, it is green and lush for St. Patrick's Day in the spring update, But the sunset is what really gets me, because that leads right into what will be a nighttime map, so we think. We don't necessarily have dynamic lighting like lots of players would like going on throughout the map, but it seems like from a top-down perspective, we're almost taking it sort of as a dynamic theme where it evolves over time, and as we progress throughout the year, that's when it changes. So I guess one day in Blackout equals a whole year within the real world, but still, nifty little foreshadowing here that we might overlook right in front of us in Blackout. Next up, there's that brand new featured game mode of Hardcore Blackout, which is really interesting in its own right. I'm still not necessarily sold on this being something that I really enjoy, but it's just different enough that I want to keep coming back and trying it out. So I'm still in that, I don't necessarily know, honeymoon phase, because that's usually more so positive, more so than anything else. I'm in that weird phase where I still don't know exactly how I feel about it just yet, but it's a brand new mode with no HUD, no vehicles, no armor, or zombies. And one also really interesting part is that we actually don't have any bandages or trauma kits. We do have med kits. Those are the only things in terms of healing that are found, so you'll be able to increase your health by 50 at a time, but outside of that, that's the only thing. So the other interesting part here at this is that it's very easy to lose track of your teammates, so it might be the only mode in which squad link is actually useful. I feel like I've passed that up every single time that I've ever played Blackout, but it might be worth picking up here from this. You also can't see the minimap, you can't see your in-game map, where if you end up holding that options button to open it up, or whatever you do on PC as well, whatever you have bound for your map there, the only way you can even see your inventory and cycle things out is going in through your start menu. So it's certainly a very interesting curveball to how we play Blackout, but again, I'm intrigued just enough. There's also one thing to mention, a fleet of helicopters that will drop flares overhead to inform players of the new circle locations. So that's something that going in my first couple of playthroughs, I had absolutely no idea, so bear that in mind. Outside of that, talking about Blackout as a whole now in the gameplay, operator mods are actually found on some weapons within the game, it seems like. It's not something you can attach like an attachment to the weapon, but it almost looks like based off the trailer. I haven't personally found any of these in game yet, so bear in mind it might be slightly different, but based off the trailer that we ended up seeing, it was something that the operator mod weapons are denoted as a purple hue rather than the golden tint that the regular tactical weapons end up having, where those are fully kitted out. So it seems like those are going to just be randomly dropped around the map, but not all that many of them. So bear that in mind, and one that I really hope isn't in there, or at least that I don't run into contact a lot with, is the ABR with the operator mod, because that thing, a repeater and fully auto ABR in Blackout, that's just gonna get a little wild. Additionally, hidden around the map, there are also pots of gold apparently, which from what I've heard will grant you 30 paint cans for each find. So that's something that I can, again, neither confirm nor deny this, because at the time I haven't found one just yet, but that might actually be worth looking around for, especially if you're somebody that wants to get a jump on your camos, because like we broke it down before, it's over 8,000 paint cans that you need to collect to end up getting dark matter within Blackout. So certainly worthwhile if you can end up skipping that in some capacity or getting a little bit of a boost, even just a little. So maybe worthwhile and maybe worth tracking those down. And talking about a little bit of a St. Patrick's Day themed update, we end up seeing that there will be pot of gold stashes, homunculus leprechaun hordes, and also mystery boxes at the end of the rainbow. So keep your eyes open for those as well. And in some of those stashes, you'll also be able to find weapons like the Switchblade X9, the Cap 45, the Rampage, and even things like the Purifier, Sparrow, and EMP grenade are now available as well. It actually wasn't listed for the Sparrow and EMP in the patch notes, but according to the one daily message, that's going to be in there as well. And the Purifier I already know because, well, I was playing a duo game with Ink Slasher earlier in the day, and he just had to put me down with it. My own teammate betrayed me like that, for the love of science, seeing how quick it killed. And it goes pretty quick, but I think it is something you need to be really close quarters for that. Regardless, those are added in. Outside of that, you end up seeing also that the hot rods and the vehicles are in standard Blackout modes as well. So your muscle cars as well as your SUVs, those are going to be there in regular duos, quads, and even solos games as well. You also have the ability now to inspect your weapon in Blackout, something you didn't since launch, which was always curious to me because you could do it in MP. I don't know about zombies actually, so don't quote me on that one, but you can finally do it in Blackout. And additionally, in terms of other sort of expressing things, is that the gestures are now available on the victory screen. Matt Strauntz confirmed this a couple of weeks back at this point over on Reddit, but you can now utilize the gesture wheel whenever you've won and show off a little bit further from that. Also, Blackout now ends up having the limited time modes tracking for stats. It's actually in its own separate category entitled LTMs now, or limited time modes. So that's something that if you missed out on any wins in your sort of quick glance statistics, they should be there now. They were always tracking on the back end, and if you didn't complete the winner challenges, I know that the challenges go up to like 150 or something like that for the main overall challenge. If you didn't get up to there, it was something that tracked on that back end you could check, but if you're past it, you didn't really know exactly how many you had at a certain point. So those have been added in as well for regular tracking. So the final thing that I want to mention in terms of Blackout actually comes from a follower of mine. Huge shout out to Fabrizio for the tweet showcasing it, but he ended up tweeting me this picture of something he found at the edge of the Blackout map. That, to me, very much so looks like Icarus, the plane from Mob of the Dead, which easily could be a new hint towards Alcatraz Island, which is theoretically coming with the next update on the 26th. So that's something to keep your eyes open for, absolutely. Swapping focus from Blackout now to zombies, there really wasn't all that much added in the way of zombies, but there is the brand new Hellcat Gauntlet, in which it tasks you again 30 different challenges for 30 different rounds. One that honestly just sounds so torturous to me is that everything's flipped, so your left is your right on your controls, and that just, I wouldn't be too great with that one. But no less, we end up having that. And also there's apparently some Shamrock and Awe stuff as well, where some green-eyed zombies will have new seasonal Easter eggs in the Chaos Story maps. So that just about does it here for what was changed in this update in terms of additions or slight alterations to the three main game modes. One also thing that I saw that was an inadvertent result of this is that actually I think Theater's pretty busted right now, it seems. You can't pause and play on command. Sometimes you'll get it to work, sometimes you won't, but I definitely had some trouble with it whenever I was going in and trying to get some cinematic shots. But regardless, that was something. Other things that we can look out for, though, coming up is that, one, we already know the Cordite 0G Mastercraft is coming as of this week. It just wasn't granted with today because it's on that, again, special order rotation that is on that weird 12-day or 10-day cycle, whatever it is, in which that shuttle variant that we've seen data mined for 3 weeks or 4 weeks now at this point is actually going to be coming as of Friday. It's a part of a 5-tier special order event in which it comes with 2 stickers, a calling card, a firebreak uniform, and then the final piece of the 0G Mastercraft for the Cordite. You'll end up having to purchase to access this and then end up grinding out the 5 tiers to unlock it, but it is something. The Cordite Mastercraft looks really cool, but I'm really not a fan of it being bundled with all that kind of stuff because it's definitely going to jack up the price even more. Additionally, I would not be surprised if we see Misty in some capacity, maybe not this week, but later on, maybe the second special order after this, where we have the Cordite and then Misty, because she's listed as being from special orders, but we haven't seen her, and she's even in the Grand Heist trailer, and even the most recent official Activision blog post detailing the Shamrock and Awe event, yet we haven't seen her. So my guess is right after the Cordite, but that also takes it, I think, even just right up until the 26th, which is when we're going to get update 1.15 and changes out almost everything. So I don't know why it's still being advertised if she's not there just yet and we don't have immediate access. Your guess is as good as mine, but that's something to keep an eye out for as well. Then another thing that will be coming in the very near future is update 1.15, another title update, and that's presumably going to be on the 26th. The event is already detailed as lasting for 2 weeks on PlayStation 4 and then 2 weeks for Xbox One and PC, because that'll be staggered by a week again. But 2 weeks from now takes us to the 26th, and then that falls perfectly in line with the things that we've theorized before, where we end up having a brand new zombies map, where we end up having that brand new Blackout map, and again transitioning into the nighttime map, plus when we end up seeing Alcatraz, Mob of the Dead, whatever you want to call it, in the Blackout map. So there's so many things that line up here with this, but this event is going to last those 2 weeks, and then we'll have another title update in conjunction with that one. And the final thing that I don't want to shrug off just yet is maybe we end up getting a mini stream and content operation update like we've seen in the past, because I mean, the Barbarians event, the Halloween event, the Christmas event, Shamrock and Awe was supposed to be its own event. So I mean, it's kind of really weird to me that we didn't see any sort of content within that mini stream update, but I mean, I guess we're not entitled to it. We ended up getting an event overall for Black Ops 4 within Blackout, Zombies, and some things thematically in MP, but it just doesn't really add up one-to-one in my mind. So maybe we end up seeing that, but I'm also not putting money on it. I feel like we're just missing a piece of the puzzle here and that it's not going to be ever described to us. So until it either happens or the event ends, we're just not going to know, which is unfortunate. But that's going to wrap it up here. That's everything that changed within this update 1.14 for Black Ops 4. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Are you guys upset that we didn't get a mini stream of some sorts with, say, the Mini 14, with the demo hammer, with any sort of camo or anything like that? Are you guys excited for the Blackout changes? Are you guys enjoying the game modes added there? Or are you enjoying the new Zombies Gauntlet? Whatever it is, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, but hopefully enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like down below, and of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Black Ops 4, MP, Blackout, Zombies. We got you covered the best of updates, news, information, tips, tricks, all that good stuff. So if any of that interests you, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. If you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, there's the best places to get connected outside of YouTube. Practically live on both those. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. Well, let's head out of the way. Thank you guys all so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.